These boots were made for, yeah. What's up everyone? Jacob back after a long break. The reason I took this break is because I wanted to take a step back, reevaluate all my content to make sure that I'm bringing you guys the best, most easy to digest information possible. So to give you an idea on the transition that I'm currently going through with my own life, and hopefully you can learn from the mistakes that I have made. But the transition that I'm going through right now is I'm transitioning away from bodybuilding and into powerlifting. Now the big reason why I'm transitioning away from bodybuilding is because bodybuilding can make you very shallow if you do not have the right mindset. Unfortunately, I did not have the right mindset when it came to bodybuilding. Now with bodybuilding, we understand that you step on a stage, when you compete, you step up on a stage and you're being compared to other people. So it naturally creates this mindset that you need to be bigger, better looking than other individuals. And this is a mindset that I fully took on. What I had found is that I put my own self-confidence in jeopardy because I was exposing it, subjecting it to exterior forces. Because of this, I started to develop insecurities. Whenever somebody would walk into the gym that was bigger than me, I would immediately overcompensate. I'd immediately point out flaws that they had in their form or this or that and try and find anything that I could to have a leg up on them. And what I had found is that it just made me even more insecure, even more of less of a better person. Like I wasn't developing into the best person possible. Now at the beginning I did have the right mindset. I was a skinny kid and I was just happy to see a little bit of some progress, and I wasn't comparing myself to other people in the gym. Now I was working out at home, so it made it a little bit easier for me. Now, the right mindset to have if you do choose to do bodybuilding is to not go with the mainstream, comparing yourself up on a stage to other individuals. The mindset that you should have to create a healthy, happy relationship with bodybuilding is to be better than yesterday, is to validate yourself based off of your own progress and not the progress of other individuals. Now this is a big reason why I am transitioning from bodybuilding into powerlifting, because powerlifting takes this mindset on wholeheartedly. It's not about how you look, it's about how much weight you can lift. It's not about how big your muscles are, it's about how many plates you got stacked up on that bar. And for me, this is very gratifying. For me, it builds the mindset of being better than yesterday. It bases your own internal validation off of your progress, off of how much weight you're putting on the bar. And so the whole reason why I'm going from bodybuilding into powerlifting is to reestablish the right mindset of being better than yesterday, of having better form, of being more willing to put myself in uncomfortable situations like weight that I've never lifted before, seeing continued progress and being better than yesterday. You know, all of these things powerlifting takes on wholeheartedly, and that's what I love about the sport. Now yes, there may be a time where I transition back to bodybuilding, but not until I get the right mindset in place. So if there's one thing that I want you guys to take away from this, is that you must have the right mindset when it comes to anything that you do. If you have the wrong mindset, it will immediately set you up to be subjected to external forces instead of internal forces. Because what is here internally is core confidence. And if you are internally gratified, if you are internally validated every single day by what you do, if you are just happy and you love what you do every single day, then that is going to make you confident. All right, so we're about to get our workout in, and what I like to do beforehand is I like to take a nice protein shake in, about 50 grams. This works particularly well if it's been a while since you've ate. Since I do train early in the mornings, I like to take this protein shake in just to make sure that my amino acid levels in my blood are super high so that I'm building muscle the whole time. Okay, let's get started. So today we're gonna do some squats. So it's really important to warm up the hips. The hip flexors play a huge role. You find them here. They play a huge role when it comes to squatting and as far as stabilization goes, especially if you're going to do a variation like the low bar squat. That involves heavily with the hip flexors. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little hip circuit warm up. We're gonna start with fire hydrants, donkey kicks, and then we're gonna do a little donkey kick to a fire hydrant variant that I love to use. So we'll show you guys those. Okay, so that was donkey kicks. Now let's do the donkey kick to fire hydrant variation. I don't know exactly what to call this. I just call this up and overs. This is a really dynamic movement that really opens up those hip flexors and will really allow you to not feel any sort of hip flexor pain after you get done squatting. Okay, this last one's just a leg straight out to the side. We're going to raise the leg up off the floor. This is the kind of little finisher that I like to do for my hip flexors. And that's how you warm up the hip flexors. So I like to foam roll before I start doing squats, and the foam roll that we're going to specifically focus on today is the piriformis. Now when this sucker is tight, it interferes with the sciatic, mainly because it runs deep down in here, runs deep down in that glute. And when it's stiff or tight, it will cause low back pain. So we're gonna really roll that sucker out, and then we're gonna hop right into our squats. So I just like to sit here on my side. Your hip bone will be about 45 degrees angled up from that foam roll to really hit that piriformis. Okay, so we're gonna warm up on the squat. I don't do anything particularly special here. Now, a big thing that we wanna make sure when we are doing the squat is that our feet are shoulder width apart, toes point is slightly outwards. We're gonna wanna make sure that that knee is tracking with the inside of that big toe. That's gonna really help the knees track in popular position. A big mistake you'll see on the squat, they go into the squat, their knees will cave in, and that's just due to weak hip abductors. So a good trick that I like to use to fix this is to put a band around the knees. It kind of feeds the stimulus, but what I've found in feeding the stimulus, it actually causes the body to resist that very thing. So you'll find that people will push their knees out when they have that resistance against their knees. So when it comes to our warm-up, I just start with a bar first, and I'll throw on 45s, and then I'll throw on another 45, and that'll be our actual working set. Since we do so much foam rolling and hip flexor dynamic stretching beforehand, I really don't put too much emphasis into the warm-up. The reason why is because I like to save a lot of my energy for the actual working sets. Unfortunately today we're not overloading the muscle too much, so we can afford to not warm up as much. Okay, what you'll also notice when I'm doing these squats is that I do a little pause at the bottom. This is just to ensure that I'm getting the proper depth when I'm doing my squats. Okay, so we're gonna move into the working sets. We're gonna do 225. I do a lot of my programming based off of RPEs, or reps left in reserve. Since we're starting off our mesocycle, we're gonna go 3 reps left in reserve. So we'll probably get 10 with 225, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so like a couple pointers that I like to give for the squat is that if you notice, there towards the end I started turning my elbows underneath the bar. This is a nice little cue because it helps keep your chest upright, especially when we're doing a high bar. We want to make sure that our chest is upright so that the bar is staying over the top of our feet. The more it stays over your midfoot, the better your balance is going to be. So that set of 225 was pretty tough. We're gonna strip some weight off and we're gonna go down to 215. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna show you guys a back end view.